Okay, so I will explain you how to use Android as a basic thing, but the example here is actually it's quite easy. Like let me choose an example. It's called return on investment. ROI. So return on investment it's like you have investment, like you invest 10,000 US, and then you maybe deposit in a bank, or maybe you invest in a stock market. You get 5% a year, a month, I don't know, and then you get return. So the return is get the investment multiply with rate and divide it by 100. Okay, so 10,000 5, like, so you will get 500. So your return is 500 US. Okay, after you invest 10,000. So let's call window right. So here, first thing first, you have to change the layout into linear layout, and then I choose linear layout vertical. Okay, and then you want to have like a number here, so it has number, so you have number sign decimal. It means you have the decimal point. So decimal point 1, 2, and 3. And here you have one button, maybe in the middle, and then a text. You can have a medium here, medium there, and another one. Okay. So you go to property and change it, and then say investment. No, sorry. Change text here, investment, and here is rate. Here is return, and button I say call ROI. Here is button ROI. Here ET, maybe invest for a short, ET rate, and here is ET return. That's it. So we learned that after we done the user interface, all the user interface is stored in the a file called r.java. Okay, here the ID, see, BTN ROI investment return like this. So we can get all the ID through r.java file. So you go to the Java here. Here is the menu, so you can just delete it because you don't need it now. And here you have to assign a button, edit text like this, and I usually put the ET. It's easy to match with the ID here. So ET invest, ET rate, okay. ET return, button BTN ROI. Control Shift O to automatically import. Then here you call invest equal edit text find view by ID. So the method find view by ID is get the ID from the XML file, because this is invoice. Then you copy and paste like this, like here. Okay, paste, paste. It's easy, right? It's simple. And here the same. Also here, but you don't have to forget here. It's different. It's button here. Okay. So to do the calculation, we have to register a button to an event. To register, you say set on click listener. Okay, and you put this. It means this class. If you have a good background in Java, here you can assign a new class. Okay, like you want to create a subclass here, and then it can when you click it, then you can go to the another class. But simple one, just implement in this class. So here you can click here, or maybe just press control 1, control and number 1, like this. You will get the list of implementation. Here you don't choose anything with the word change here. You have to choose the word let main activity implement on click listener. Click here, you see the implement on click listener is here, and also it's auto import the on click listener. And then you right click here, or maybe you press like this and then click add unimplemented method. It means it will add a method for you here. Okay, so it's a button here. Yeah, it's a button here. So actually, when you have more than one button, it has some problem. For example, like let me show you first with another button. Okay, here maybe I put it down below, and I change the name a little bit. So it's button 1 here. So let's say I just test. So I say hi, button hi here. Okay, so to get the button, oh, was it something wrong? Here was it? Okay, so another button is called hi. Let's say you have one button, and then let's say I test it with the toast message. Is just a simple message down below. So let's say Roy here. Duration, you can call it with attributes called length long, means it's long length. It's like this. Register new here. So I use outside emulator called Jenny. So I have to choose always to pick a device and open it for me like this. So when you have a button like this, click is okay. Okay, but if you register the same, here is another button. So if you like this, okay, and then you say this, so you can see it's the same method here. See, even though it is two different buttons, but it implements one same method. It's called on click. Okay, so when you do this, when you click, it's okay, but when you click another one, it's also happen the same thing, because here there is no condition to distinguish between these two buttons. So you have to use this argument, okay? So this argument, in Android they usually change it to we, but I usually change it to sender, because in C# they use sender as the click view. I mean which one, like this button or is another button is called sender. It's sent from another one. So to make it happen, you have to use the if condition and say if sender got get ID. So this is the condition to make it different. So if the sender get ID equal the ID dot ROI, then this is the method for the ROI. Okay, else if, so you get this. If sender button high, then this is for the button high. It's not the same, right? So if it is not the same, we have to use the condition. It's like this. See, so this is the even for the button ROI, and this is for the button high. Okay, so in Android it's like that. Okay. So for in this case it's okay, because we have only one button. I just give you just an example, so I delete it. But in practice you have to keep like this. If always like this. Okay. Even there is one button, but it should be if like this. So how now you can do the calculation, right? So the inverse is, first you have to get the ET inverse here, and you call dot get text, and you don't confuse with get take. This is a tag. The tag, I mean, is another thing. And now we choose the get text with the xt, okay, and to string. So first you have to change to string, but to do the calculation you have to change to a variable which is integer or double. So in this case it has a decimal point like 10.5 like that, so you have to change to double. Okay, so you can use the capital double D, or maybe just use the primitive double like this, is fine. So I say inverse like this, but then you have to cast to change to double like this. Okay, it's very long. At first you have to change from the inverse to get to text, and change from text to string, and change from string to double. Okay, and store in a variable called inverse here. You do the same with the rate. You call rate here, double pass here, and et rate here, get text to string. And then the return, the same, return. Okay, but the return, when you say right return here, you see the word become red because you have the return as the keyword. So for the word return, you cannot use the return. So for now I use red for the return, or maybe or T or N. It's up to you, it doesn't matter. So for me I use red, easier. So inverse rate and divide by 100. This is the formula that we agree with. So now after you do the calculation, then you will send back to the ET return, right? So to send it back, you call return like this. To get, you call get, and then you put it back, you call set. Set and get is the style of Java, setter and getter. So you set text, and then with the text red, okay? But the red here is double. If you want to change to the string, you have to call toString here. But if you use double with the small d here, you cannot use toString because the toString is for the class. And in Java, when you call a variable with the capital D, the red here is not a normal primitive data type variable. Is a class. Okay, double here is a class. You can see java.lang.double. It's a class. So when it is a class, then you can call toString and change to toString. Before in the Java 4, you cannot do like that. In Java 4, I believe if you want to call double with a capital D, let's say A, you have to say like this. Okay. This is the Java 4. But after Java 5, they add a new thing that you can call directly like this. So now it's easier. Okay. Okay. So after you've done this, then you can return it back to the ET return. So 10,000 is 5%. Okay, 500. What if I delete 1? Boom. So it has some error because of what? To see this error, you have to go to the logcat in Android. If you don't see this logcat, you have to go to Window and go to New View and go to Other, and you will see logcat. And there are two logcat. If you see this logcat, it's called, and it say deprecated. It means out of date. Anything in Java, maybe in programming, if anytime you see deprecated, it means out of date. Okay, so you don't have to use this. Use this one. So open like this, but it's messy because it has a lot of Java code here. But you can clear it out like this. Okay. So when you run it like this, and you open this log, okay, and then let's try not to type anything, and then I clear it out. And then I click it. So this is the exception, the error. So you have to try to understand this. So it's a little bit difficult to see because there's a lot of line. But you can start with the first line, the red one. The green and the blue, other thing is okay, except the red one. Red one is error. You see, fatal exception. You say invalid double. Okay, invalid double. So here there is nothing that you can see. Oh, which double? But you have to guess. In Android, in Eclipse, it's difficult. For the debugging, it's very difficult. But you have to guess. Oh, this double has a problem because like when you convert from like when you don't type anything, it's just nothing. So how can you convert nothing here? So to solve the problem, you have two solutions. First, you can add 0 like this, because if there is nothing, then you can add 0. If there is something, then 0, 0, 1 is 1, right? Because it's not 0, 1, it's 0. This is number 1. Okay, this is the first solution. You can just add like this, add like this, and it solves the problem. Okay, so let me try again. See, so it just think that okay, it's 0 multiply by 0 divide by 100, then it becomes 0, right? But it's not a good thing actually. You can just do that, but mostly we use with the try and catch. So in Java they have another style, it's catch the exception. So you call the X here exception like this. Okay. So you put because we know that this part of the code will have some error, so you put it here. It means if there is some problem, it will catch for you. Okay, and I say toast here, this, and I say error number. See, so it actually it's more beautiful, because if you type like this, it's ugly. You know, it makes your code ugly. Like sometimes you have to add this 0 in this part, and then another part with 0, and sometimes you do the 0 with the like multiply, then you have some problem. So it's not beautiful, it's ugly actually. So in Java, or maybe in C#, in other modern programming, they have the try and catch. So you can catch some error here. If some problem, then you can give some error message. And in this case, you know that if some error, you just ignore it. It's just like, okay, I don't give any message to the user, so the user just don't think that it's no error. Like this, try to click and it's okay. Yeah? This is one of the solution. And if they type like this, it's just like this. Yeah? And if they do not type anything, for example, we just display nothing, because I forgot to add like this. All right. If you say error like this, sometimes it makes user think that, oh, I have some error. Yeah? For example, like this. Oh, error number, which one? So it's a kind of tricky thing, like make user feel uncomfortable. So sometimes just like this. Okay? You can use log here if you want. Log.i for your information. You can use your tag, but it's okay. Just leave it like this. So now you have learned a lot, even though it is a small example, but first thing, you know how to get all the ID from the XML. It is go through the r.java, okay, and all the here it store in the class called ID. The layouts store in layouts, menu in menu, right? And then you get anything from XML by calling r.id, and then convert it into a view. It's called find view by ID, and cast it into edit text, or cast it into button. If it is edit text, has to be edit text. That is the reason that I have to put the btn in front of it, because you see when you call it, sometimes you say invest. Is it button invest or it text invest, or maybe list invest? I don't know. And then if you do this, and you have to come back and check, oh, it is ET, oh, it is the button. But if you name like this, you never confused, because you have the word ET, or edit text. Okay, you can call it some other thing. It's up to you. But in the common world, like in Android world, it's called ET. BTN is BTN, or some people it's called BT. Okay. And then when you cast it here, you never confused, because here button it must be button here. Yeah? And here you learn how to register button and know how to handle different button. Okay, and do the calculation. You have to change from the text to string, and then change it to double. Integer, you just change to integer like this if you have an integer. And here it must be integer, and then pass here is int. Okay, if it is integer. Float the same. Okay, and then set it back. You have to call the word set text, and you know how to work with the double, with the small d and big D. And you know how to use the try and catch here. So that's all for this lesson. I will see you in the next video. Thank you.